Step into the dark shadows of nursery rhymes as we unravel the disturbing real-life history behind Georgie Porgie. What many of us thought was an innocent rhyme about playground kisses actually hides a scandalous tale of betrayal, scandal, and power. Before we delve into the origins, let's revisit the version most familiar to us. Georgie Porgie, pudding and pie, kissed the girls and made them cry. When the boys came out to play, Georgie Porgie ran away. The history behind Georgie Porgie isn't just about a playful rhyme. It's believed that the rhyme might have been inspired by two notorious figures, each entwined with scandal. One possibility is the Duke of Buckingham, a real historical figure whose life was marked by countless sexual escapades and political maneuvering. In 1614, a young and striking George Villiers, only 21 years old, caught the eye of King James I. Described as the handsomest-bodied man in England, George quickly became a favorite of the king, even receiving the affectionate nickname Steenie. Their bond was deep, both emotionally and likely sexually. James often wrote tenderly to George, calling him "my sweet child." Under James's favor, George rose to power, eventually becoming the Duke of Buckingham. But this rapid rise came with consequences. George's rise to nobility, his political maneuvers, and his numerous affairs earned him both enemies and disdain, particularly for his personal indulgences. His romantic life was equally scandalous, involving mistresses, many of whom were married women. One of his most notorious acts was his relationship with Lady Catherine Manners, a wealthy woman who was tricked into marrying George after her reputation was tarnished in a dubious scheme by George's mother. As Duke, George's influence led to several political failures, most notably in a failed military campaign against Spain, leading to public ridicule. Despite his unpopularity, he remained in favor with King James and his successor, Charles I. However, on August 23, 1628, George met a brutal end. Stabbed by John Felton, an army officer disgruntled by George's lack of promotion, Buckingham's death was seen as a public triumph for many. Felton was hailed as a hero by the masses, and some believe the rhyme Georgie Porgie was a satirical jab at his effeminate and indulgent lifestyle. The line pudding and pie in the rhyme could symbolize Buckingham's indulgence in both male and female companions. His kissing the girls could refer to his affairs, while the crying could symbolize the emotional turmoil caused by his romantic entanglements. When the boys came out to play, might depict his cowardice, suggesting he was afraid to face his critics. But there's another possible inspiration for the rhyme. George IV, the Prince Regent who later became King George IV. Known for his excesses, drinking, feasting, and numerous affairs, George IV was despised by many. Upon turning 21, George was granted a generous allowance, but his lavish lifestyle quickly drained it. His obsession with Maria Fitzherbert, a Catholic commoner, led him to marry her secretly, despite legal barriers that forbade such a union. Yet, in 1795, George was forced to marry Princess Caroline of Brunswick due to political pressure. The marriage was disastrous, with both parties openly despising each other. Throughout his reign, George IV was ridiculed for his size, his indulgence, and his numerous mistresses. At his coronation in 1821, he refused to acknowledge Caroline as queen, despite her right to the title. The public, already critical of his behavior, turned against him even further. George IV's relationship with Caroline, his extravagant banquets, and his physical decline all seemed to fit the rhyme's description. Kissed the girls and made them cry refers to his tumultuous relationships, while the reference to pudding and pie could allude to his unhealthy appetite and notorious weight. After his death, George IV became a target of satire, with poems and songs mocking his lifestyle. Could Georgie Porgie have been a nursery rhyme poking fun at his excesses? But was Georgie Porgie inspired by the Duke of Buckingham, George IV, or someone else entirely? Perhaps the truth is that this rhyme is a blend of both, drawing from the scandals of two infamous men whose lives were defined by power, excess, and controversy. The mystery of Georgie Porgie remains unsolved, but one thing is clear. Beneath the surface of innocent nursery rhymes lie stories of betrayal, political intrigue, and human folly. What do you think? Is Georgie Porgie the Duke of Buckingham, George IV, or another figure entirely? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe for more untold stories from history.